And again, like the nice thing about the crowdfunding stuff is like even if you're probably not going to buy it yourself, but you think it's a cool project, do what I do and tell people about it.
Yeah.
And that like just boosting the signal just a little bit goes a long way for folks that are trying to get their shit printed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I'm done with that.
Those were so. Yes, something about me agreeing with Kickstarter being the best comic shop, because you, for months now, have been able to pull out at least 5 or at least 4 stellar looking comics from Kickstarter. You don't get that from a comic store.
Well, I don't want to short sell like the industry comics because I don't want
Sure.
to alienate everyone that likes capes and
You're
capes and heroes,
right.
because
You're right.
those are great. I think like I think of Bach, the composer, and how he created beautiful music at a time when music was the rules of what you could write were super strict. It's like music must be composed in this structure and in this way. I can't really speak to it as well. I don't know my music history as well as I need to make this point. But the point of it being, he created incredible, creative, and beautiful music under oppressive restrictions. And limitations can inspire creativity. So while I myself am not much of a fan of superhero comics, I do see some cool shit happening in them. I like the way that you've got these decades, sometimes a century-old trope or a century-old character, shit that's been going on for fucking ever. And then you do something new with it. You adapt it to the times, and I find that interesting. When you've got buckets of characters that are like this company's IPs, and a writer gets a hold of that and is like, I've like the way that this character was always written never really sat well with me. I'm going to try something new. And so they take the established recognizable character as a template and then tell a new story with it. And then having that known character evolve with the times becomes an interesting thing. Like a lot of these things are written as male power fantasies by men, and so you get the occasional woman writer in there or not white writer in there, and they bring just a little something new to these characters that we've seen rehashed, and then suddenly a slightly more diverse person brings a slightly more interesting take on these characters. These are gradual increments, but this to say that while it's not what I read and not what I enjoy, there's still stuff there. And if you love it, if you enjoy it, if you have, like, I think Superman is the most boring thing I've ever heard of. But if one particular run of Superman really kind of moved you, dope. As a man who drinks tea, I've always said if a man, if a person likes Lipton's, that person should drink Lipton's. There's nothing wrong with Lipton's tea. If you like it, you should drink it, and it goes that way with comics that, like, if you like that thing, you should do it. For my part, boy, do I love people making their own comic. I love it so much. I can't satiate my thirst. In fact, I got 2 comics right over here to talk about when we're ready.
I definitely agree. Well, like, I've talked about my I do like some industry stuff, and I do like.
That's good because I don't.
Yeah,
that's not true. There's a couple ones that I really liked. Go on, Kyle.
The thing that comes to mind is like Disney existentially terrifies me as a person, but like stuff like the newest Spider-Man movie, I'm really glad that exists, and it wouldn't have if they didn't have all of the money. And so I feel very complicated about that. There's like a hole in my there's a paradox in my philosophy I haven't quite been able to rationalize yet about that.
I have a metaphor for you, a historical metaphor, in fact. The church as an art patron.
Yes.
Obviously problematic, obviously very limiting, but they had a bunch of money. They funded a bunch of art, and art developed because of that. Is that a good thing? It happened. It's our history. It's our past. We can take it for what it's worth, and we can evaluate the fact that one dogma, I suppose, dominated what is art. But on the other hand, art's not a thing that makes money, historically speaking, and they poured money into art, and art developed and grew, and we had things like the Renaissance. Disney owns all the IPs, exaggeratingly speaking. That enables some cool shit. It also means that things never ever ever reach public domain, like they were supposed to. And my main issue with IP corporations is just that they own the things forever, and the things are owned forever. And while on the one hand that means we get cool shit out of it, we get some dope ass movies. That's great. We get a cool video game here and there. Awesome. It kind of inhibits the generation of new stuff. Because the idea is public domain happens a number of years after it's created, and the original creator dies. And now so like this thing just becomes public domain. You can do whatever you want with it. Imagine for like hypothetical conversation that Batman was in the public domain. Now anyone can just make a Batman story the way anyone can make a Hercules story. Some of them will be good. Some of them will be bad. You don't have to ask a company for permission. You're not going to get sued for it. It's just there. Sony made a Batman movie, and Warner Brothers made a Batman movie, and Paramount made a Batman movie. Which one's the good one? Paramount one's actually pretty good. Imagine that world. Is it better? Is it worse? Who the fuck knows? I don't care. It's just kind of like what I imagine the copyright expiration system is supposed to do. And that like these characters are no longer IPs, they're more mythology. they're things that are just out there that you can interpret and people can do things with. So that's what I feel like the big downside to these corporate buckets are. Now, it's interesting because it's like we have movies that are just straight up commercials. Ready Player One, the second Space Jam movie, where it's just like, hey, check out all
there
these.
Was a second Space Jam movie.
Hey, you didn't even know. You didn't even know.
I did, but it's funnier to not remember it.
Oh, I really wanted that to be true. It's fine. Yeah, it's like we need to fill the stands, and they fill the stands with all the characters they own.
Oh, was it Wreck-It Ralph 2?
That one didn't offend me too bad.
There was one particular scene that was like, look at all the properties we own. But,
yeah. I liked the princess scene. That was hilarious. That was actually pretty fucking funny.
Fair.
I love that the story is like, do I want to be a character in Fortnite? Actually, in my heart of hearts, I kind of do. I love that was like, is this I can do this, but is it what I want? And the conclusion being, yes, no, I actually do want this. I do
actually want to play Fortnite.
No, be in Fortnite. Different thing.
Yes, but what is the psychological message they're trying to impart on the youth?
Well, fortunately, it wasn't literally Fortnite. It was it was legally distinct Fortnite. it was Slaughter Race or Murder Race. Yeah, Vanellope wanted to. It's like, man, I belong. I could totally like kick ass here as a guest, as an import character, and it's like a crossover character. And And she totally did, and it was great.
They should have named it A Period of 2 Weeks.
Do you know what makes me so mad?
What?
That using the Elden Ring template, the message template that you write a message on the ground for other people, you can use the format where it's just a single word with no punctuation, the conjunction is a comma, and then a single word with no punctuation, and the word fort is in there, and the word night is in there. Not night as in day and night, but night as in, a man in armor, but it's enough.
Is there a way you could spell out, perhaps, beware of Fortnite?
Beware of fort, comma, night. Yeah. You could. Is beware of a format?
I think so. There's something like, there's some kind of like watch out for or something like that.
Yeah. Beware of. Yeah. Rich says that LeBron James is in Fortnite, but probably doesn't play Fortnite. That's fair.